A few short months ago, he wasn't even on the map. He won the Kentucky Derby. He held on in the Preakness. 1 week from today, Justify as a date with destiny. It's time for Road to the Triple Crown, presented by TwinSpires.com. Joe Christofak and racing analyst Scott Shapiro joining me this morning. And Scott, we've heard from Ed DeRosa, we've heard from James Scully, we've heard from Brandon Staubel. Fresh perspective on this Road to the Triple Crown and Justify. Your thoughts?
Yeah, he's obviously doing very well since the Preakness. If you had concerns on Justify, they'd probably, going into the Belmont to win the Triple Crown, Joe, you probably have to think about the distance and the fact that his numbers have regressed since the Santa Anita Derby. But at the moment, with the lack of speed signed on in the race and just how good he's doing, he's going to be very tough to beat.
He's been back on the racetrack for over a week now. Recently, he had a very, very strong gallop. The next day, he had a really good workout. Then he walked the shed row. Then he jogged on and off track. And then yesterday, he had a strong gallop as well. And as trainer Jimmy Barnes said, breathing fire was a term that he used, assistant trainer Jimmy Barnes in the Baffert stable. And you see him here, Scott, schooling at the gate.
Yeah, when you hear confident statements like that from a guy like Jimmy Barnes, you have to take him seriously. Now, obviously, a horse like Justify is trained well from day one, but I haven't heard those kind of accolades yet from them, so it's a very good sign if you're a Justify fan.
Yeah, I mean, he just wanted to do more yesterday, right? He walks the shed row. He's like, oh, man, come on, I could do more than this. Then it was an off track, and he was probably just going to have a light jog that day anyway, but the off track probably precipitated that move as well. And then yesterday, he was just feeling really fresh. At one point, when he broke away from the pony, he bucked a little bit. You could tell that he was feeling good, but he's carrying great flesh. He definitely hasn't missed an oat according to the connections. And, you know, his coat is shiny and he looks tremendous.
Yeah, I think he looks as good as I've seen him, and that's saying a lot because he's one of the best put-together horses I've ever seen. I was fortunate enough to be out in California through his first couple races, and then he kind of came out to Kentucky with me in a way.
Yeah.
But just look at him, he just, you know, he looks like he's got it all gone together.
Yeah, he's going to get a little bit fresh right here. I think we're going to see the buck coming up very, very shortly. As, again, it was a little bit of an off track yesterday. It was sealed, and there you go. And he's like, let me go. I want to do more. So Justify, once again, feeling great yesterday. Looking forward to him coming out on the racetrack today. Now, it's very popular in basketball terms to compare Michael Jordan to LeBron James. And in horse racing, it's easy to compare American Pharoah to Justify. We've got a Triple Crown winner and a potential Triple Crown winner coming from the same barn. Here's what Jimmy Barnes had to say about that comparison.
How does he compare? Well, he compares, he's right up there with them. He's got one more step to take to, you know, really compare him to him. But I think he's capable of doing it. He's definitely all business. Very good. Seems like he's easy to manage. You know, there's no time we'll ever see him where he's out of control on the track. He's always got a very good mind on him, which really helps, you know. That's another thing he had in common with American Pharoah, is they both have a very good mind and a big set of lungs.
Yeah, we had this question asked through social media a couple of days ago if it was a 1.25 mile race at Churchill Downs, a match between American Pharoah and Justify, who would win? And it's a tough sell. I mean, as far as having a real strong opinion, because as Jimmy Barnes said right there, American Pharoah sealed the deal in the Belmont Stakes, then later went on to win the Breeders' Cup Classic, so he just has more on his resume at this point.
Yeah, he definitely has the stronger resume, Joe, and it definitely would be difficult to compare the two of them in a match race because they have pretty much the same running style too, so there's no advantage to, you know, the horse that would be in front early and such like that. But obviously Justify has more to prove, but what he has done so far to me is a little more impressive because he's done it in such a short time.
Right, we didn't even know who he was. Obviously didn't race as a 2-year-old, broke the Apollo curse, undefeated. American Pharoah wasn't undefeated. In fact, he lost a couple of times, so we'll see what Justify does moving forward, but it's always fun to make those comparisons. If you want more information on Justify, there's one quick and easy place to go. For the latest videos, insight into Justify's journey to the Triple Crown, join our email list at KentuckyDerby.com. Again, join our email list at KentuckyDerby.com for more information on Justify. Get all the latest news and information. Okay, we've got other horses training here during the exclusive period from 7:30 a.m. to 7:40 a.m. Eastern Time at Churchill Downs. leading towards the Belmont Stakes, including Free Drop Billy. He had a workout a couple of days ago, walked the shed row, has been back on the racetrack the last couple of days. He's gotten a little bit worked up in the morning, not so much with how he's attacking his exercise, but he's gotten a little bit lathered up. We're going to take a look at Free Drop Billy and his exercise on the racetrack yesterday morning. 2 days in a row, he's gotten a little bit lathered up. He seems pretty composed, though, at least as far as what he's doing on the track.
Yeah, in terms of the lather, it could mean a number of things. I haven't seen the horse every day, so I'm not sure if it's normal for him, but could be getting worked up, may not be a great sign. But, you know, he's an outsider already coming into this race. He has not moved forward. I know both of us liked him a little bit, Joe, earlier in the season coming into his 3-year-old campaign. Hasn't moved forward. The 1.5 miles is a big question. He's going to be really a big price on the board. I don't know how much of a chance he really has.
Yeah, the work was good the other day. I mean, that was going to be the defining moment, whether or not he was even going to go to the Belmont. Dale Romans was pleased with it. He's run 8 horses in the Belmont. Romans has 3/3. So his horses have performed admirably in that race. And like Dale said the other day, it's an entirely different animal as far as preparing for the Belmont Stakes with a horse that you think can be competitive.
Yeah, it is a unique race, the 1.5 miles. We always see interesting things in the race as far as tactics are concerned. Usually at least one horse jumps up and surprises us in liking the additional ground. The Romans barn hasn't been hot as they were early in the year of late, but you never know. He could clunk up for a piece.
A horse that a lot of people are talking about leading up to the Belmont is Tenfold. Steve Asmussen has a win in the Belmont Stakes with Creator, and he has a second with Tenfold's daddy, Curlin. He's been training great here at Churchill Downs. Like I mentioned, a horse with a lot of upside. Let's take a look at some of the recent activity from Tenfold, Scott, and I want you to tell us what you think about this horse, his past performances, and his progression moving forward.
Yeah, this is a very interesting option if you're looking to try to beat Justify. He's only raced 4 times, so he is lightly raced, but he showed up big in the Preakness. It's been an interesting pattern for Tenfold. They took him to the lead in his first start. He was very green, but won easy. Then they took him off the pace at Oaklawn in his second race, and he was all out to get up over a horse named Navistar. His Arkansas Derby was a bit lackluster, but you have to be impressed with his Preakness. The barn seems confident. I don't think the distance is a major concern. It is for everyone, obviously, but this horse specifically should be okay with it. He's got a big shot. I really look forward to seeing him working this morning.
Yeah, he's going to go 5/8 most likely. Steve Asmussen said they want an easy 5/8, probably 102, 103 for Tenfold. That's the way this barn works the horses. You talk about how different trainers approach the race. Bravazzo with that 1 mile breeze the other day, Justify with the half-mile breeze and the strong gallop out, and supposed to work again this coming Monday leading up to the Belmont. This is going to be Tenfold's last work. It's going to be 5 furlongs. It's going to be easy, but Steve Asmussen knows his horse. He knows the fitness level, and he's done all this stuff before.
Yeah, huge advantage to have done it before. You have Baffert, you have Asmussen, these guys, even Romans, like you mentioned. I think that, you know Steve Asmussen has this horse exactly where he wants him at this point because he plans out and is so methodical with his planning. It should be, I really look forward to seeing him grow both not only in the Belmont but further in the 3-year-old campaign.
Yeah, the arrow's certainly pointing up for Tenfold, and like Scott mentioned, the best probably yet to come for this lately raced son of Curlin. Let's find out what assistant trainer Scott Blasi thinks.
At this point, you just got to start stepping up and being good enough. And as far like what I saw this morning, and if, you know, hopefully breezes well tomorrow, I think we're in a pretty good spot. And you know, he's getting better with racing. That was only his 4th race, so you know, horse has a lot of upside. I think him being a Curlin, he's going to get better as the year progresses, and you know, we're expecting a big effort out of him in the Belmont.
Steve Asmussen trained Curlin, and obviously Tenfold seems to have a lot of similar qualities. Obviously, they would love to this horse to develop into a horse like Curlin, but it's been a natural progression. We talked about this horse debuting in a 2-turn race. He's continued to move forward, wire to wire in the debut. Now he's shown the ability to stalk and pounce. It's going to be really interesting to see where he sits in the Belmont and how he finishes.
Yeah, he's a pretty good breaker, so I'm assuming they seem pretty confident. My feeling is they're going to try to be right off Justify in this race, and I wouldn't even be a little surprised if they try to really show some speed. I feel like they think this horse has a significant shot. I think he has a big shot to run, to run real well in that race, and I'm really looking forward to seeing him this morning.
Yeah, obviously the post position draw will be important to see how this race may unfold. TwinSpires.com has some great promotions as we see Bravazzo making his appearance on the racetrack there with Hall of Famer Dwayne Lucas on the pony. Want to tell you about him. This bankroll builder started yesterday, so hopefully you started earning $5 and $25 overall towards your Belmont Stakes Day wagering. It's an easy opt-in at TwinSpires.com. It's called the Belmont Bankroll Builder. You can earn up to $25 in a wagering bonus. It's free money. It began yesterday. Each day you bet at least $50 on the races from Belmont. We're going to give you a $5 bonus to play the Belmont Stakes Day card. So it's the Belmont Stakes and a tremendous undercard in Elmont, New York. Up to $25 total of free money to earn. It's available to all TwinSpires.com players. You must opt in. Just a couple of clicks to that promotion at TwinSpires.com/offers to be eligible. Another great promotion they have, the $5,000 Belmont Day Parlay. On Belmont Stakes Day, can you let it ride through 6 winning show bets? Play the $5,000 TwinSpires Show Parlay and find out. Start with a $5 show bet in race number 7. Roll your winnings over to the next race. Let it ride all the way through race number 12. If you successfully bet all 6 contest races, you're going to split the pot. Again, TwinSpires.com/offers for full details on these promotions. Easy to opt in, available to all TwinSpires.com players, but you must opt into the promotion at TwinSpires.com/offers to be eligible. All right, it's time for the training period, and here's the star of the show, Scott.
Look at that horse. I mean, he is just a picture of perfection, Joe. Whether he's able to get the job done in the Belmont will not take away from the way he's been training this week and what he's accomplished thus far. He's going to be tough to beat.
Yeah, there's only a few things that can beat him. Obviously, another horse running a huge race, the 1.5 miles. Not every horse handles that sandy track at Belmont. We've seen a lot of favorites bite the dust, for lack of a better term, over that racetrack. We've seen a lot of huge upsets in the Belmont Stakes as well. But we've also seen some very, very, very formful results. American Pharoah won by 5.5 lengths when he won the Triple Crown just a few years ago for the stable.
Yeah, and remember, we have seen upsets, but with some of these horses trying for the Triple Crown, they've gotten tired very late. Smarty Jones comes to mind, obviously real quiet. If he's going to get beat, I can't really see him throwing in a clunker. Perhaps he will, but I foresee it happening in that manner where he might get tired. The the 6 races in a short period of time could take its toll. But, just looking at this horse, he's tough to get by.
Yeah, I mean, they talk about it taking its toll, right? And then you see the horse physically on the track, and you say, hey, maybe this horse is coming up a 3-month layoff because he certainly looks fresh, happy, healthy, physically fit, checking all the boxes. And Jimmy Barnes talks about his mind, and you hear Brandon talk about the mind and the ears. It's very important, obviously, first and foremost, to have talent physically when it comes to a racehorse. You got to be fast. You got to be rateable. That's very important. But you also have to have a horse that takes cues from the rider and does what you want them to do when you want them to do it. And again, Justified checks all those boxes.
No, and it's a great point, Joe. With Unique, we have a horse running today at Santa Anita and Beholder Mile that kind of has the physical tools in Unique Bella, but has struggled with the mental part of the game.
Good comparison.
So comparing that to a horse like Justify, American Pharoah, that have both the physical tools and the mental tools, it's impressive, and it makes them very tough to beat, especially when they're on their game, which Justify has been in all 5 starts.
Some of it's just innate, and then some of it is also learned and trained over the course of time, and it's important to be patient. We didn't see this horse at 2. Bob Baffert was patient, came to us in February with the Maiden Breaker, hasn't lost since. You saw him standing right there, Scott. There's a lot of fans watching this exercise period live at Churchill Downs, and Justify was just kind of looking at him, taking it all in. Certainly didn't bother him at all, but he was definitely curious, and that's where the mind comes in.
Yeah, he's a real cool customer. Like you said, he waits for his cues, which is extremely important. It allows him to save energy as well, I believe. And just looking at him, I mean, what a beautiful coat, perfect stride. If he gets beat, it's not going to be for a lack of talent and look.
Yeah, there you see Justify again on the track, getting a nice gallop, but once again, controlled energy. That's what you want to see. He wants to do more, but I can't help echoing Brandon Stauble's sentiments about just waiting for the cues from the rider. You can see the ears flicking back and forth, and again, wanting to do more, but certainly well within himself. Tenfold's going to have a workout. We believe it's going to be 5 furlongs. He is on the racetrack, and one of the main threats to Justify, we talk about how Justify is trained here since he's been back on the racetrack a week from this past Thursday. Tenfold has been really good in his own right. And again, this is a horse with upside. He's taking a nice progression moving forward. This is going to be an important workout for him, Scott, but we don't need to see him go fast. That's not what the goal is of the stable this morning.
Right. It's not the goal of the stable, and you're running 1.5 miles. It's not necessarily all about speed with this. I can't help but notice the confidence that the barn's exuding with this horse. I didn't really feel that way going into the Preakness. I feel like this horse he's moved forward gradually. I feel like they're expecting him to put forth his career best effort in New York.
Yeah, this is a tremendous looking individual too. And you talk about Justified stride and how efficient it is. Tenfold's not far behind him. And this is a horse that can still get better. And that's, in horse racing, that's what we try to handicap, Scott. We try to handicap improvements and the right day and the right time, especially when you're trying to cash tickets. He's going to offer some value. So we're going to see him here, Tenfold again, with an important work here this morning. We will try to pass along those workout times. Kevin Korstein from our media department is right on top of it. He's been very good about passing along those splits. We might get him in real time here. We might get him a little bit after the workout. It was a little bit foggy here this morning, as you can see. Tenfold kind of just doing his thing. And again, this is a leisurely work. They don't want him to go fast. You can tell he's well within himself, but he's getting a lot out of it at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. You could tell he almost wants to do more. He has a little bit of a different stride than Justify, but an equally or almost equally imposing individual. And here he comes down the lane and well within himself, like you said, Joe, kind of waiting to do more and wanting to do more.
Similar to what we saw from Bravazzo when he worked a mile the other day, just kind of galloping along. I mean, not even a nudge from the rider. We might get a little bit of a nudge here on the gallop out just to make sure he finishes up strong. And this is an important part of the work too, Scott, is seeing how the horse finishes up, how eager they are to continue on, how they pull up from the move. As you can see, Tenfold continuing on here. This is a real stamina building work going into a 1.5 mile race.
And as it should be, Joe, making the lead or showing speed through half the race or 2/3 of the race is not going to be good enough. It's not going to be good enough to be Justify, and it wouldn't be good enough otherwise. The 1.5 miles is a race unique, as we mentioned earlier, to all others, and he's going to need the stamina part of things to be at his best in Belmont.
Yeah, I mean, you just saw it there as he's being pulled up, and we talk about the ears. And as he was slowly being pulled up there, you could see the ears kind of flicking back and forth. And, you just learn this stuff from hearing Brandon talk and seeing how he observes horses and how they move. Asking the rider, that's how they talk. Do you want me to do more? I can do more if you want me to. It's one of those subtle signs. It's really, really, really great to see.
Yeah, and it's great to listen to Brando, Bruno DeJulio, all the other clockers that really do this on a regular basis and watch horses. But, yeah, you got to remember these horses are not robots. They are living, breathing things, and there's a mental part of this game, too. They don't just show up and run the same race every time.
This is exactly what the team wanted. He went slow, but I got a feeling we're probably going to be surprised by the final clocking of the splits. And they just came through now. So, all right, so we've got 12-3 for the opening eighth, 25-1, 37-1, 49-2 for a half mile. The official workout time is going to be 1:01 3/5 for 5 furlongs. It's pretty much what they wanted. Steve Asmussen had talked about 1:02, 1:01 3, doing it well within himself. He gallops out 6 furlongs and 1:15 flat. He gallops out 1:28 4/5 for 7 furlongs and continued on, pulled up nicely, walking off the track in fine fettle. Again, we'll get some quotes from Steve Asmussen, Scott Blasi, Derby Media on Twitter for those daily notes to come out. And I'm sure the team is going to be thrilled with what they saw.
Yeah, and going back to the points, where you said that they want certain times. They're not always looking for the fastest work. They're looking to get exactly what they want done. You'll hear horses that work really fast. Sometimes that's not what they want. Too fast is not good. And like you said, I think this is exactly what they wanted to see this morning.
Yeah, stamina. Stamina is very important, obviously for the Belmont Stakes going 1.5 miles. So they got a really good breeze into tenfold here. And again, the official time is 1:01 3/5 for 5 furlongs over a fast track on a gorgeous morning here under the Twin Spires. So we saw Justify on the racetrack earlier. He looked great. We're going to take a look at him once again out there here this morning. And today is Saturday. We believe that Justify will again gallop tomorrow, Sunday. Potentially scheduled for a breeze on Monday. He breezed this past Tuesday. Walked the shed row most likely Tuesday, and then on the plane to head to New York on Wednesday. Same schedule American Pharoah followed.
Yeah, I mean, don't mess with success, right? I mean, why change things? And they seem like to be a little bit superstitious with this horse, doing a lot of the same things as Pharoah. Why change it? But it's been exciting to have this horse on the grounds here so often.
You see him bucking a little bit again. I mean, this is another spirited gallop, Scott.
Yeah, he wants to run. I mean, he's ready. If the race was today, I think he'd be ready. But obviously, there's a week to go, and it remains to be seen how he will travel and all. But man, he looks beautiful out there.
This horse has done so much. I mean, again, just reiterating that point that he didn't run at age 2. We didn't even see him in a horse race until he broke his maiden in February. Won that allowance race, came back, eventually won the Santa Anita Derby. And, as far as the physicality, the talent, it was all there going into the Kentucky Derby. But a lot of people, myself included, were skeptical. He had not overcome adversity. He got a really clean break in the Kentucky Derby. He got a great trip. Running by us the first time, I'm not surprised at this point if the race isn't already over. Then in the Preakness, he overcame adversity. It wasn't a traffic situation kind of adversity, but he battled with a really good horse, tooth and nail, was still able to get to the finish line first. I think he's going to step forward off the Preakness.
I agree with that, and I think what we saw in the Preakness was probably his slowest race on numbers, but one of the races that impressed me most, because like you said, he had to battle, and he had to battle with possibly the second best 2-year-old in the country right now, or 3-year-old, pardon me, in the country, in Good Magic. So while the numbers weren't there, I saw from him what I hadn't before. He was able to get into a fight, a dog fight, and pull out of it with victorious.
Right. Okay. Well, hey, 1 week from the Belmont, and if you're playing the races on twinspires.com, you need to build that bankroll. You can do it through wagering. Of course, we've got a great card at Churchill tonight, Downs After Dark, with that $300,000 mandatory will pay in the single 6. But you can also do it free and easy at twinspires.com by playing the races at Belmont Park today and for the next few days. It's called the Belmont Bankroll Builder. You can opt in at twinspires.com. The Belmont Bankroll Builder gives you the opportunity to earn a $25 wagering bonus. It began yesterday, June 1st, and continues on. Each day you bet at least $50 on the races from Belmont. We're going to give you a $5 bonus to play the Belmont Stakes Day card. A tremendous card from top to bottom, including the Belmont Stakes, up to $25 total. So twinspires.com is basically giving you $25 if you bet the Belmont races the next few days. It's available to all twinspires.com players. Players must opt into the promotion at twinspires.com/offers to be eligible for the Belmont Bankroll Builder. All right, Scott, we're going to, build our bankrolls tonight. We'll talk more about Downs After Dark. It's always a tongue twister for me. As we move forward, really looking forward to it. But just some final thoughts on what you saw today. Justify tenfold. I don't know, man. They both look great.
They do both look great. I'm sure both barns are continuing to be happy with what they saw. Obviously, a little more done by tenfold today with the breeze. But really hard for you to be against either horse from what you've seen today and what you've seen in the training process.
Justify, Triple Crown, the way tenfold is training. You've got Hofberg. You've got some other talented individuals. I want it to be a great horse race. If Justify does win the Triple Crown, I want him to earn it. I mean, and he's probably going to have to. There's some good horses that are going to oppose him 1 week from today.
Absolutely. I think there's little question in this case that justify if he wins the Triple Crown that he's earned it. He took on all comers. He had a perfect trip in the Derby, but it was against 20 horses in the slop. Then he had the battle in the Preakness. You know the mile-and-a-half test is going to be different than the first two. I'm just impressed with what he's done so far and really looking forward to next Saturday.
Well, that's going to wrap it up for Road to the Triple Crown, but lots going on under the Twin Spires today. It's the Downs After Dark program. Neon Lights presented by Budweiser, 6 p.m. first post, $300,000 mandatory payout in the 20-cent single six with a 15% takeout. Aristides and the Mighty Bow on the 11 race card. For Scott Shapiro, I'm Joe Christofek. Enjoy your weekend.